Okay, we're in my backyard again. Sorry about the noise. I live on a main street. There's a lot of traffic going by. This video is going to be a little different. I'm just going to tell you about the time I fell almost 20 feet and broke my arm and my pelvis. And they had to put a steel plate into my arm. That happened about 7 years ago. And now something happened this week that they're going to have to take the steel plate out now. So I'll tell you what happened, why they put it in, and why they now have to take it out. I was putting a second-story window in off a forklift with a sheet of plywood on it, and I stepped on the wrong part of the plywood and it broke, and I fell almost 20 feet and I landed right on my side. So I kind of did a cartwheel through the air. I fell like this, started falling like this. When I almost hit the ground, all I could do was stick my arm out like this. So my arm snapped like a twig. The whole side of my body landed like this, and then my left hand and my face hit the ground at the same time. And as soon as that happened, I couldn't move for about a second, and it freaked me out so bad. I thought I was never going to be able to walk again. So the thought of that just gave me this lightning bolt of adrenaline. I shot back up to my feet, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be okay. I took a couple steps. It only hurt a little bit on the side of my hip, so I figured I was good. I didn't even know my arm was broken at the time. A bunch of people saw me fall, hit the ground, get back up, come over, freaking out. Oh my God, what happened? Like, I'm like, I'm okay. I just gotta walk this off. They're like, sit down. I was like, okay, I'll sit down. So I sit down, and this was in the winter time. It was in January, so I had my winter coat on, so I couldn't see my arm. All I could see was my hand sticking out. My fingers were all like this, and I couldn't move them. I could wiggle them a bit, but I couldn't move them. So I was like, yeah, I need to go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital. They said it's broken. They said I needed surgery. And they put a steel plate and some pins in here. I don't know if you can see the scar. There's a scar. You can even see the stitch mark scars. So that happened about 7 years ago, 7.5 years ago. And what I found out recently is, you see how I can't move my thumb right now? I can move it like this, but I can't lift it up. You should be able to do a thumbs up. I can't lift my thumb up. This happened about a week ago. My tendon snapped in my thumb, so I can't move it. The tendon was rubbing on this metal plate for so many years, it eventually snapped. So now it's snapped, and I gotta go for surgery again to have them take this steel plate out and reconnect the tendon. But the tendon is missing about 9 centimeters of it. So they're gonna have to take a tendon out of my finger and reattach it to my thumb. So they're about to do that. I'm about to go to the hospital for my surgery, and they're gonna reattach it. And I'm back from surgery. So they took the steel plate out. I actually asked them if I could keep it. They said I can keep the plate and the 5 screws that were in there, but there's a bit of a process to get it, so it'll take about a week before I'm allowed to take that home. But I'll show it to you guys when I get it. And yeah, it was actually, those screws were sticking out too far the backside, so my thumb tendon was rubbing on one of the screws that was sticking out. So that's what rubbed it off and eventually snapped it. So that's why they had to take it out and repair the tendon. But I can move these fingers, it's not too bad. That surgery went pretty quick though. I went in at 1 p.m. and they let me leave the hospital at 5:30. They actually might have let me leave earlier, but I was having a good sleep. When they knock you out and put you to sleep, that's a good comfortable sleep, so I slept there a little longer. And I got up at 5:30 and they let me leave. When this originally happened, it happened on a Friday morning. I went into the hospital, the emergency room. They didn't do my surgery till Sunday, and I wasn't allowed to leave the hospital until Wednesdays. This shouldn't be as bad this time. All they did was take the plate out. I guess I have 5 holes in my bones now from the screws that are gonna have to heal up. But hopefully I can get back to work soon. I'm still gonna make videos, but they might be a little different for a while. And I'm gonna have this thing on, or a different cast. I don't know if they're gonna take this off and put a regular cast on it, but we'll see. So it's been about a week since the surgery now, so my scars are healing up nice. They took off the cast, they put this splint on. This is just to hold my thumb straight. I can still move all these fingers really good. They said my scars are healing up real nice. So this might be a little gross, but I'll show you guys what they did. I got these 3 scars here. They had to cut it here to cut the tendon here. They had to cut it here to pull the tendon back through, and then they had to cut it here to reattach the tendon. So they did all that, and on the other side is where they took the plate out. This is the worst one. They took it out the same hole they put it in, so they cut the same scar again. I also got the steel plate. This thing looks really gruesome. Here's the plate and all the screws. It was actually 8 screws altogether, and they're pretty long. So that was in there like that. And the screws are so long, they were almost poking out the back a bit. So that's what my thumb tendon was rubbing on, and that's why it broke. So the surgeon wasn't a very good carpenter. His screws were too long and they poked out the back. So that's what caused this now. So they reattached the tendon. My thumb is a little stiff, so I'm not supposed to move it. So I can move it a little bit. I can tell that I can move it up now. So that still has to heal. So other than that, it's pretty good. It's healing up. The scars are healing up nice. Got back on. So this fall was all based on my own stupidity, and because of this mistake I made about 7 years ago, I now have to get punished for it again. But it was my own fault, my own stupidity. So always wear a harness. I never say that enough in my videos, and I don't do it enough in my videos, but this is what happens when you don't wear a harness. You could end up with something like this in you, and it's not fun. I'm actually really happy that they took this out, because I could always feel that in, and I could always feel that in there, and the corner of it always stuck out a little bit. So now that I can feel that this is out, it feels a lot better. So I'm glad they took it out now. I also want to show you guys the phone that was in my pocket when I fell. This was back in, I fell at the beginning of 2012. This is my iPhone 4 that I got in 2010. This was in my pocket. It was in an OtterBox, the strongest case you could get for this, and I landed on it. It was in my right pocket. It's still in the OtterBox. The screen stayed together, but the back shattered and it bent here. The phone kept working because the screen didn't broke, so I kept using it for a while, and then eventually the glass all chipped away. But that was a phone that was in my pocket and I landed on, in the OtterBox. So it's only been about a week since the surgery, but I think I can get back to work and doing something pretty quick here, because I can still take a tape measure, hook onto something, hold my pencil, make a mark, square it up, and I can do some layout. So I think I'm gonna work with a crew and I'll just do all their layouts, and I'll make some videos showing you guys how to lay out. I'll take the blueprints and show you how to mark out walls, show you how to mark out all the floors, show you how to mark out where the roof trusses are gonna go. So I'm gonna be starting that right away here, quick. So those videos will be coming soon. So I'm gonna try and keep working and try and keep making videos. This is already getting better, so I should be back to normal and back good again right away here. So I guess it's time for a beer.